Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadidamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. We spend a lot of times in our life asking important questions. I've talked about them before here. Questions such as, who am I? What am I here to do? How can I fulfill that purpose? And these are important questions. But there's another question I've started considering lately, because even after you've figured out the answers to why you're here, who you are, how you can really fulfill your purpose, life will still break your heart. People will disappoint you, upset you, your body will change, money will come and go, plans will fall apart, and the world will continue to surprise you. So the question I've been contemplating is, can I stand in the complexity of life and still be peaceful? And that's what today's episode is about. Namaste and welcome to the Spiritual Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Alexandra Savitri Amba, director of the American Reiki Academy, Los Angeles' oldest Reiki school, and the Vedic Healing Center. I'm a Reiki master, Vedic healing master, clairaudient channel, and healer. For over 35 years, I've taught thousands of people healing and spiritual self-development, and also led pilgrimages to India, where I've studied with blessed Indian teachers and gurus. On this show, we explore topics related to metaphysics, Reiki, Vedic healing, manifestation, spiritual growth, and feng shui, based upon my studies and work in these disciplines. The aim of this show is to help you awaken, develop, and tap into your spiritual power so you may live well, manifest your dreams, and ultimately fulfill your unique divine destiny, all by working from the inside out. It begins with energy. Welcome to today's episode, and it is an interesting episode because it is prompted by all the stress and problems that are around us, and me kind of contemplating and listening to the people who come to me for healing and listening to myself as well. And so before I get into it, I want to start by talking about peace. Now, many people think that peace comes after everything settles down. What that might look like is your bills are paid, your money is flowing, your relationship is great, or you have manifested a beautiful relationship after a diagnosis changes, something related to your health, after your children grow up and get settled, after retirement. In other words, everyone's waiting to achieve peace as a result of their life becoming peaceful, the external circumstances becoming peaceful. But I started thinking that life doesn't really promise us simplicity. I've said this before, that the only guarantee that we have here is change. This is actually what is taught with when we work with Nataraj, the dancing form of Shiva. So change is a constant. It is It is the one thing that is happening all the time. So if you start thinking that your peace depends upon everything settling down exactly how you want it, then peace is always going to remain just kind of outside there over a horizon. But peace is something really different. I believe it's the capacity to remain open, balanced, serene, even when life refuses to be simple. So, what I wrote down when I started this today was, can you remain peaceful within the complexity of life? Can you remain happy within the complexity of life? Can you remain balanced within the complexity of life? Because we all know that some days we get up and we feel fresh in the morning and we may be hopeful for the day. And then invariably we're going to have interactions and we're going to have problems ensue during the day. And we're going to have challenges that come up. Many of them are unexpected. Some of them are expected because we know, we're anticipating, we kind of know where a certain area of our life is going, or how a conversation may turn out. But if we start really concentrating on maintaining, cultivating, accessing, tapping into peace at all times, everything becomes really quite different. And the spiritual path teaches us that as we do our practices, this peace is one of the byproducts, perhaps the most important byproduct. The balance, the flexibility, yes, that's all there. The strength to get through things. But this peace, this deep, deep peace, and I've also referred to it as contentment, which goes beyond the word peace. I think in another episode I used the word santosham, which goes beyond. Shanti is peace in Sanskrit. Santosham is contentment. And it's a beautiful, beautiful space to be in. It's actually the space where we manifest the next steps of our life more effectively. If we are manifesting from a place of upset, from a place of confusion, from a place of angst, of not good enough, then we're really not manifesting to the capacity that we could. I've also talked about how gratitude works. So once we step into gratitude, we are essentially tapping into a peaceful space. So this question, can you stand in the complexity of your life choices and still be peaceful, is what has been very prevalent in my awareness lately. How this looks is honoring all of your life choices without judgment, without attachment, without blame or shame or guilt. Just the truth of all of your life choices held gently inside. So the other interesting thing is, one thing can be true and another thing can be true in your life. How this looks. You can be successful and lonely. You can be healthy at one moment and have some health challenges in another moment. You can be loving someone while letting them go. You can be joyful even while carrying some sorrow. So all of the experiences that we're having seem to contain this yin and yang. And that's why I said, can you stand in the complexity of life and still be peaceful? Because sometimes we see this complexity and we think it's a mess, but it's not really a mess. It is simply the yin and yang of life, the good and bad, the light and dark. And so even when I say good and bad, we release judgment. Remember, I said a moment ago, can you stand in the complexity of your life choices without judgment? So somebody said to me about a choice I had made, said, well, you only made that choice. You're the one who made it. So implying it was a mistake. And I said, I have no judgment towards myself for having made that choice. I don't even regard choices that I've made as mistakes. I regard all choices in life as simply being choices and opportunities for growth, opportunities for lessons, opportunities also, and this is interesting, to help fulfill the karmic experiences that you came here to understand. And so when you look at your whole life and understand the patterns, if you look at it from a higher vantage point, you can say, yes, I had to go through that in order to learn this important lesson. Or I had to go through that in order to experience what I needed to experience this lifetime. Can you see how that starts to release any kind of upset? So we start to look at all of our life choices and all that comes into our life, all the experiences that are flowing to us every day from a place of non-attachment. We start understanding this is happening, and so what? Not from a rude place. So what? What does it mean? We start allowing things not to really mean anything. Because when we're attaching meaning to everything, we are probably standing in a place of judgment. This was wrong. Oh, she shouldn't have done this to me. Oh, look at what he did. See, each person is, I heard a teacher say this once, each person is doing the best they can with the knowledge they have at the time. And when they know more, they will do better. And so there is completely no kind of interpretation of why someone is doing something. And also understanding they are always acting from their own life experience. So any perceived hurt on your part is also a choice. Isn't that interesting? So if somebody does something to you and it seems upsetting, it feels hurtful, acknowledging that, but again, being outside of it and not attaching any meaning to it, just remaining unaffected. And the way we can get to all of these beautiful experiences of maintaining peace, maintaining contentment, santosham, is only, as I see it and as I've experienced it, through our spiritual practices. Because as we're tapping in to these practices, we are accessing a great reservoir of energy that animates us no matter what is happening around us. And not only does it animate us, it fuels us, it inspires us, I'm not even sure if I can think of the right verb. I was going to say it defines us, but it's not that. It's that it starts to permeate through all of our cells. And it makes it so that no matter what happens, all is well. So when I ask you, can you stand in the complexity of your life and your life choices without judgment, without attachment, without shame or blame or guilt towards you or towards anyone else, and just be, not make anything mean anything? Does that sound like something that you might like to try? Because, again, we know life is going to be full of challenges and problems and potential pitfalls, but everything is potential. Because if the practitioner remains in a state of eternal bliss, nothing can touch him or her. No calamity can touch you. So the purpose of this life is probably not to eliminate uncertainty, to solve every mystery, or even to find yourself and your life purpose. Perhaps it is to become someone who can stand and thrive, I would suggest, in the middle of life's extraordinary complexity and still choose love, kindness, still notice beauty, still laugh, still chant, still breathe, still remain deeply, profoundly alive. And to me, this is great freedom. This is great freedom. It's like a release from potential angst. I like that word, angst. It kind of describes everything, all the problems wrapped up in one. Stress, angst. So can you choose consciously during your day, as things come up, to move into a space of peace? It's guaranteed that you will have things that can be potentially upsetting. I say potentially because one of the things my Reiki master taught me is that everything is a choice, and how you react is a choice. One of the great things about working with, this is kind of interesting to me, working with people who are business people, like a business advisor, let's say, or an accountant, or somebody like who's very focused mentally on a lawyer, on problem solving. And we all are, but I'm just giving those examples. Is the focus becomes on the solution. Here's the problem. What's the solution? How can we solve this? And so there isn't any room for upset. Now, we can go too much into that mental body stance and forego also the capacity to feel. And I'm not suggesting that. And also, as healers, we can go too much into the capacity to feel everything. What I'm suggesting is to find a balance and to work on, as a choice, finding peace no matter what. It can be extremely challenging, especially when you are facing an illness, a health challenge of someone you love, could be a heavy financial challenge. It could be a serious relationship challenge. But can you look for and locate the peace in every experience? And it will come from being unattached to the outcome, being focused on the solution, being aware of your feelings, but not attached to anything, moving into a space that is kind of hovering above. Again, it's not ignoring, it's hovering above, being outside of the experience, being, like we talk about, being the witness. And it's a lovely space to get to. You can feel it when it's happening in your life, and you can feel it also when it's not happening. And then you can shift back. You can shift back and you can say, I'm choosing to live in the complexity, in the angst, in the stress of my life, and remain peaceful. Remain in a place of santosham, of contentment. No matter what happens, no matter what someone says to me, no matter the challenge that occurs, no matter how difficult this problem is, no matter how much I think this is insurmountable, I'm going to remain in a place of utter peace. And in that space, all the solutions come. All the answers come. And even if the answers don't come consciously, they are being brought to you. It's really kind of how prayer works. It's interesting. So you put forth the prayer, and when you're praying, you release the prayer, and then you stand in a place of peace, knowing that the answers are flowing back into your space. The answers and the responses, the outcomes, the solutions. I couldn't think of the word. The solutions are flowing back to you. So being in that place of surrender, that was one of the words Guruji loved so much. He used to say the highest yoga is the highest form of yoga, he would say, is a life lived in surrender, in complete surrender to the divine. He used to say also an interesting phrase, and it relates to my topic today. He used to say, I just thought of it, can you remain in smile all day long? So imagine that no matter what happens, you're not necessarily that you're physically smiling, but can you remain in smile? You know the feeling that happens when you smile. Even now, if you just turn the corners of your mouth up and you smile, you feel different. So he would say, can you remain in smile all day long? And essentially, he was saying, can you remain in a place of all is well? All is well, santosham, complete contentment all day long. So this is my challenge to you, my reflection to you. And it's a soft challenge because nothing on the spiritual path is harsh. It's a reminder to use this as a tool for tapping into something that's beyond all of your problems, all of your upsets, all of your concerns. And if you forget, if you remember nothing from this episode, except for this one phrase, I'm going to say it again. Can you remain in smile all day long? So you might forget that I said, can you stand in the complexity of your life choices without judgment or attachment or shame or blame or guilt and still be peaceful? But you may remember this shorter phrase, which is, can you remain in smile all day long? And as you go forth today, if something happens to you that you don't like, if something is potentially upsetting, I say potentially because remember, as I said, my Reiki master said these reactions are choices. And can you remain in smile all day long? Can you start to just look at what's happening in your life and be a witness? And in that space, all of the answers, as I said, and the solutions will flow to you. That's one of the reasons we do meditation. We're doing it to allow ourselves to move into a space of peace so that, and I said one of the reasons, so that when we sit down to do the work that we have to do, we're able to do it more effectively. If you are approaching a task and you're in the energy of upset and you can't find your phone and let's say the phone's ringing, somebody's knocking on the door, you're dropping things, you just spilled some water and you're trying to send an email at the same time, there's chaos. So when we do our practices, Reiki, meditation, chanting, yoga, breathing, we start to take the yoga off the mat, take the Reiki off the mat, or not the mat, the massage table, or we start to bring this beautiful space we have cultivated into everything we do. And this is going to make all of life more beautiful, more successful, more blissful. So I hope this was helpful. again, if you remember nothing else from this, and I recorded this very unscripted, so it's a little rambly, maybe not. Can you remain, if you remember nothing else, can you remember this for me, for you, because I think it will be helpful. Can you remain in smile all day long? Take that with you. I hope you remember it. I hope when something happens today that is potentially upsetting, you close your eyes and you say, can I remain in smile even while this is happening? And if it helps you to actually smile, to turn the corners of your mouth up, you can try that. You don't even have to. I'm not asking you to breathe, to chant a mantra, to meditate, to put Reiki on you. I'm asking you just to, or suggesting if you want, close your eyes when something upsetting is happening, potentially upsetting. Again, it's a choice. Close your eyes and smile. Just smile. And in such a way, you're accessing the energy you need to allow the problem to work out. And you're really tapping into magic. I always use that word magic. I like the word magic. It's fun. We all like the idea of magic, and working with energy is a form of magic. Magic might have a bad connotation to people. I mean, you might think of magic tricks and trickery, but magic is, to me, it's beyond this ordinary physical plane we live in, where there's strife and misery and bodily pains and all sorts of problems. But magic, can you believe in magic again? This is what we tap into when we do these practices. It's magic. It's magical. And it's something we've forgotten. So we're all living in a space of remembrance, of remembering this this ability to work with energy, to tap into energy, to tap into magic. And when we do, we start noticing that we're living in smile, no matter what, no matter what. And another thing I want to say, a last thing I probably want to say here is, please remember that all of your problems have a solution. We often cannot see the solution, or we just envision one solution. But actually, there are many, 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 many infinite numbers of solutions to any single problem, more than our minds can even fathom. So any problem that you are having, pause for a moment, close your eyes, be in smile, and access that peace that will allow the perfect solution to come to you. And then the challenge is to trust your inner wisdom to do and say and act perfectly. You are handling everything in your life to the best of your ability with the knowledge that you have at this time. And as you obtain more knowledge, you excel. You excel. So be very kind to yourself and know that today you can live in smile no matter what is happening. And actually not only can live, but should. This is one of the times I'm going to say the word should. Mostly, I won't, my Reiki master used to say, I won't should on you. In other words, I'm not going to forcefully tell you to do something, but you should try it. You should. I'm suggesting that you should live in smile because it's going to bring you such magical results that even you cannot fathom right now. The brain cannot fathom. But you will be tapping into the divine. And so the divine has infinite possibilities of offering you gifts that you are hopefully ready, willing, and able to then receive and accept. I hope this episode was helpful and interesting. It was a little bit unusual maybe, but this topic was really prevalent for me, so I wanted to speak about it, living peacefully, no matter what, and accepting all of your life choices and moving into a higher way of being with whatever is occurring in your life. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sai Ram. Jai Guruji. Om Amriteshwariye Namaha. Hare Krishna. Om Namah Shivaya.